What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the In the Round podcast, episode 96. It's your boy Matt Burrill in the luxurious DM Monday studios. Make sure you guys check out the DM Monday podcast. Shout out to TL and the crew letting us do In the Round here at luxurious Infinity Music Row. Love this place, and make sure you guys check out the DM Monday podcast. Got all kinds of cool episodes on there. Well, today, episode number 96, got our boy Tyler Dial on, and this was my first time getting to know Tyler, and badass dude. Definitely, as one of his songs talks about, left of center, he is uniquely and unapologetically himself, and he's got a lot of cool shit going on. He just put out a brand new EP. He just got the masters back on a new record, and we talk about all that, talk about his story and all kinds of cool stuff. So hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed recording it with my boy Tyler Dial. Got to tell you about our sponsors, MRL Music Group, tour support, booking, all the good shit. Be sure to check out our friends at MRL Music Group. Mike Allen, we love you and appreciate your support. Whaletail Media, our boy Wales, Tony, Gracie, and of course Sam Beasy. Whaletail Media, make sure you guys check them out. We have a very cool writers round coming out with Whaletail Media soon, so y'all be tuned in and stay tuned for that one. Of course, Saxman Studios, our boy Grady and his crew out there in Mount Juliet. Great music at a great price. Be sure to check out Saxman Studios. And of course, last but not least, our boy Mitch Wallace and his crew, Luke and James and the whole team over there at TDMA, the digital marketing agency. They got you covered for content all over the place. So now we're going to get into it. Episode number 96 with our boy Tyler Dial. This is the In the Round podcast.
We are rolling and
rolling.
How you doing today, bud?
I'm good. It's hot.
It is hot. You're from Arizona, though, but the heat's fucking different, isn't it?
It's so bad. I'm sweating right now. I don't know if you can see, but dude, it wasn't until I went to college in Austin where it was humid, and here I just started sweating. Like I think I need like Botox on my armpits or something, because
Dude.
like I was when I was first in town and going around doing like meeting like publishers and stuff.
Yeah.
I used to start like they'd play my songs and I would like just start sweating. Like I'm not nervous, I swear. It's just hot. I just had a coffee and I just worked out. But there was one time where the publisher got up in the middle of like listening to my song and like turn the air conditioning on. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah,
so I had to learn, like, don't work out before meetings or podcasts, and sometimes I can't help it. So.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you went with the iced coffee today.
Yeah, you got me a nice cold beer.
Got a cold beer. We got AC in here, here in the studio, and it's
honestly now, like, I used to like care about it, and at this point, I'm just like, fuck it.
I'm a sweaty
sweat.
I'm a sweaty bastard too, but especially being from New York, like we're not used to the heat and. Going on, we were actually funny enough, in Texas last weekend. We were in Buda, which is just outside
south of Austin.
Yep, just south of Austin, and it was like 100-something degrees, pain in the ass, like just hot.
I love Buda though.
Yeah, it's a fun
I wrote
time.
3 songs on the album that's coming out next year in Buda.
Oh no
South
shit! So
Austin.
have you been to Mavericks?
Uh-uh.
There's a bar there called Mavericks that is fucking wild. Like
There's
Texas crowds just hit different, dude.
Texas crowds are great. There's a place down there called Willie's Joint.
Okay.
And I just like go get their shirts because it says Willie's Joint on it. And I actually like ran into the owner who lives in Nashville or like spends a lot of time here, and you'll see him walking around with a Willie's Joint hat on.
Nice.
It's great.
Yeah, and I mean Texas Willie's Joints. We were talking about before. You had to go out to Denver recently.
Yep.
Music video for Damn Denver, which by the way, hell of a song. Can't wait to see the video. Congrats on all that stuff.
Oh, thanks.
We were out in Denver, and what I like about touring. You can go to all these states where they have less regulations on the herbal substances that come out of the grounds, and love going to those places. I got Willie's Reserve in Denver.
That's the best.
It was really good. It was, and I should have gotten something that was it was like Blue Dream and Pineapple Express, which are like the basic noob strains.
But there's a reason they're like the one everyone knows.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Like the best one.
There's a Seth Rogen movie called fucking Pineapple Express. But it was like it's cool going to different states and experiencing that stuff. But that's my.
I mean, dude, I'm from Arizona and they just legalized it. It's the best, dude. Margot Price has a Willie's Reserve.
Yeah, that's what I have. It's like Margot's
really?
Margot's on the little box.
She's such a badass, dude.
She is. I haven't. I think I saw her years ago. Because when I used to work in radio up in Jersey, I used to just go to random concerts all the time. So I worked for a soccer mom station. It was today's hits, yesterday's favorites.
Yeah, I don't know if they're playing
98.3.
Margot Price on that.
No, but what I did was we would give away tickets for random shows at this amphitheater. One of them was the Willie Nelson Outlaw Music Festival.
Dude, that would be my dream opening
It was
slot.
actually the last show before I moved down here. So
Oh,
I
wow.
had a buddy Anthony. Of course, he looked like a little ginger Italian Jonah Hill. We used to call him Pot Roast because he was a little chunky, but he loved pot. So I was like, bro, I got an extra ticket for this. You're gonna hang out backstage. We're gonna party, and we just. And it's like the crowd at a Willie Nelson show, and I believe Margot has done shows with Willie. Obviously, I forget if she was on that one. I do remember Tedeschi Trucks was on that one. I do remember Sturgill was on that one.
Probably Lucas Nelson.
Lucas was on that one with the I think it was him and his revival or his family or it was one of his projects that he was doing at that time back in 2018. But yeah, that whole scene's really cool, and it's different from like with your music. You have that song Left of Center, and I actually put up that cool video, that behind the song kind of thing.
Yeah,
you were sitting on a roof, which is really cool, and there's all these different styles within country music right now, and I think right now is the best time of country music because we're getting a little bit of everything.
The walls are coming down a little bit.
I think they've been coming down for a while, and now it's like guys like yourself and folks, even like guys that have been more on the mainstream, like Brothers Osborne, are expanding things out a little bit.
They're literally one of my biggest influences.
Yeah, and they're doing it their way, where it's as much a rock show as it is a country show, and they're still getting the love from the mainstream. And then you have guys going in the pop direction. You have guys going more in the hip hop direction. You have girls going in all different directions. Like it's really cool. So what's it kind of like for you being a country artist that's got more that not that twangy beers, trucks, three chords, and the truth vibe?
Dude, someone posted on TikTok or no, not TikTok. I gotta keep. It's hard to keep them all straight.
It is, man. There's so
Someone
many.
posted on Twitter the other day. It was like my song broke and your song Left of Center was on repeat and I couldn't stop it. I'm like, this isn't country music. This is trash. I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, first of all, this is probably a lot more country than a lot of the songs that are on the playlist you're listening to. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's been fun. It took me like a long time when I first moved to town. There's so many good artists, and I've always wanted to do my own thing and be different. But it took me like a while to figure out who am I, what do I have to say, and Left of Center was that first song that I wrote that wasn't a party song. It wasn't a love song or a breakup song. It was like, this is who I am in 3 minutes. And that kind of became like a cornerstone for the album that we worked on for the last 4 years. So that song like has done a lot for me in terms of my confidence and just being myself. And I don't know. I think it's important just to like do you. And like when I was figuring out who am I, the thing I kept coming back to is I'm just like where I'm from and the experiences I've had. So that's why I wanted it to be on the EP called Way Back When, which is kind of about where I'm from and what we did way back when.
Which that title track, another fucking smash.
Dude, thank you, bro.
What I always like to do before I do an episode with a guest, I go to Spotify and I just jam the shit, and
Sick.
it was that one just hits heavy. Like
Thanks,
that
dude.
way back, it just fucking goes.
Man, like, I mean, I grew up. I spent 4 years in college in Austin.
At UT?
UT.
Hook 'em horns?
Yes, sir. The best, dude. And we used to play every home tailgate and play 6th Street every weekend. And we'd play a lot of covers and some originals, but Way Back When's the kind of song I wish I had back then. Because I feel like people would have loved it and like it would have gone over super well. And the last 4 years I've just spent writing songs and haven't been playing as many shows like we used to. So I'm excited to try and get back to that and play that one out on the road. I think it'd be fun.
What's a UT tailgate like?
Well, first of all, it's really hot.
Yeah.
So I used to go in on Thursday and rent like a whole PA by myself, like before or after class. And I would open up the back of my Jeep and put in like 3 monitors, 2 subs, like a huge PA, and like my whole no one in my band knew how to set this up, so we would like figure it out at our first tailgate. You know, we'd get there 3 hours early. We're like, it's like hot and humid in the Texas heat, so we're like sweating our balls off before we even sound checked. We would sound check and then play like a 3-4 hour cover gig.
What were the stages like? Were you playing in like the back of like flatbed trucks? Were you on the ground? Were you under tents?
They would have their pledges make stages.
What?
Like they'd go to Home Depot and would make like a stage like
That's pretty normal. Yeah, we used to do that same
exactly.
thing.
Well, yeah, some fraternities were like really nice houses that had like an infrastructure in place, but a lot of times it was just like a stage in their backyard or at the parking lot, and we would be like so hot and sweaty and like would make it to the game by halftime. You know, like it was like so fun though. It was fun.
What years were you at? Were you at UT?
I graduated 2018, so I was there from 2014 to 2018.
Okay, so after the Colt McCoy days, after the
I think the 4 years I was there was literally like the worst 4 years in Texas football
and
history.
now, do you still keep up with it?
A little bit. I know Peyton Manning's son is going to be our new quarterback.
Which is a big deal.
Pretty sweet.
That is because Georgia fans love to talk shit. Alabama SEC fans love to talk shit, especially to schools outside the SEC like UT, OU. I'm a Virginia Tech fan, so I always hear it. So for UT to land a Manning is big for a Manning to go to school outside the SEC. But you guys are coming into the SEC too, which is going to be very wild.
I think that'd be awesome, man.
There's going to be a time where UT comes and plays.
They're going to come back.
They're going to come and play at Vanderbilt because it's going to be in the conference schedule. Oh shit! And you'll have UT Nation. You'll have all your Longhorn folks, all your Hook'em Horns people coming up here to Nashville.
There's going to be the clash of which is the real UT. Because I feel like here it's Tennessee.
I like y'all's orange better. I think Tennessee's orange is just fucking nasty.
I always thought the Texas burnt orange was gross until I got in, and I was like, it's the coolest color ever.
But then you see that bright orange that Tennessee has, and that's just they play that Rocky Top. It just da 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 da. I
don't want to talk too much shit. I feel like I'm in Tennessee. I can't.
No, but I feel like there's more Bama fans and more Georgia fans than there are UT fans, especially in our line of work.
I'm gonna level with you though. I'm not a huge football guy.
Baseball?
No, European football.
Oh, you're a soccer guy. Okay, how many Nashville FC games have you been?
I've been to maybe 3 or 4
already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's so much fun. It's so cool, like to see it grow here. But I had a few offers to play D1 in college.
Oh wow.
And I almost actually went to the Air Force Academy to play soccer. But,
oh shit.
Yeah. But I got into Texas and music was becoming more of a passion for me and a love, and I've done it all my life. So when I got into Texas, I was like, this is like the opportunity to like be where country is alive and well, and like start building a fan base and start doing it.
And not even just country, but music. Because Austin, I've been to Austin now twice, and our first time in Austin, you know about the Rooster Man? Did you ever see the Rooster guy? Naked homeless dude walks around.
I've seen like a lot of homeless naked dudes walking around.
I feel like that's a common thing. Yeah. It's here in Nashville too, but really in Austin because they say keep Austin weird, and they're definitely doing well with that. But the dude, he has a rooster on his shoulder, and he just
a real rooster,
rooster.
Cool.
And he like peed on the side of our bus middle of the day.
Were you even mad about it?
I was like, I think this is kind of like a rite of passage. Yeah. Like this is him welcoming. This is Austin being like welcoming. Welcome to Austin.
Yep.
Is 6th Street like a big thing for kids that go to Texas for college?
It
like,
was.
Is
Dirty
it
6th Street where they let all the fake IDs in and all that stuff. It's totally a thing, but it's gotten pretty bad with homeless population.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like you guys had college bars or if it was is the campus that close to 6th Street to where everyone would go back and forth, or are you DDing or taking chances or Ubering?
We were there when Uber first became a thing. But a lot of times,
changer.
I know, dude. Well, I was in a fraternity, and a lot of times we just had like pledges drive us.
Yeah.
We'd all pile in the back of like a pickup truck, which is so dangerous, dude.
but feels so epic at the time.
Oh, it's the best. And I mean, it's close enough to walk home if you're like too expensive to call an Uber at 2 a.m. And I've done a few of those, but I would much rather Uber for sure.
Yeah. And how does it compare to Broadway in your mind?
Broadway is so different. Like there's a lot of like blues bars in Austin, and like no one's really playing like commercial country music.
Piano bars, like
no one's playing like Wagon Wheel on 6th Street or whatever.
Are they playing Turnpike songs though?
They are.
Okay, so it's covers of the different
It's
scenes.
great, dude. And like we used to open every show with Every Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like our go-to. And I didn't even know Texas country existed until I moved to Austin. So it took me a minute to like figure out what people like, but I like fell in love with it immediately, dude. Like Robert Earl Keen and Jerry Jeff Walker and Turnpike Randy Rogers. Like I love all that. And I kind of feel like the Brothers Osborne have a little bit of that mixed with like the country radio thing. And I think that's where I'd like to find the balance of like, you know, Parker McCollum, Co Wetzel, like the Texas troubadour thing and the commercial country.
So why come to Nashville? Why not just stay in Austin? Because there's a music scene there.
Right.
Like what inspired the coming here?
The songwriting.
Yeah, that's what I always hear. I always hear from people like I've got good buddies. We were talking about our buddy Tyler Halverson.
Yeah,
and Tyler's been living out in Texas.
He's so good, dude.
And you talk about someone like the authenticity. Like you're doing Tyler Dial because you're Tyler Dial. Tyler Halverson's doing Tyler damn Halverson.
I love what he does, man. It's
because
so great.
it's so authentic. It's you have your own thing. You're not trying to be anybody but yourself. And he's living in a town. I forget what the name of the town was. I'll have to go back and look it up. But it's like maybe got one stoplight in it. He's in a house by himself, and he sometimes has Wi-Fi on good days. But he said he lives in Texas because Texas is where he has his shows. But he still comes back here. I'm like, what do you miss about Nashville? No, he's like, I miss getting songs. I miss writing songs with my friends.
Well, everyone out there, most people out there comes here to write.
Yeah.
But all the opportunity is out here, dude. Like I wouldn't have my publishing deal, you know, to do music full time. I wouldn't have my management or the record deal that I've got. So it's like everything happened, all the opportunities here, and I feel like the last 4 years I've kind of been missing that Texas thing because it's not easy to just go and play a show on the weekends in Texas. So I feel like we've lost a little bit of like the fan base we cultivated and everything, but I still go down there to write, you know, like I said, in South Austin, and I've got a producer out there, and
cool.
It's fun to get back down there, and I want to do more, especially now that I have like a whole project out.
Yeah, so what's touring? So 2020 hits. Were you out touring when COVID and all that shit kind of shut
Not
things
really,
down,
dude.
or were you still you've just been in writing mode? Like let me come up with a project to go out there and play for.
That's
people.
really the thing. Like when I graduated college, I moved here and literally like the day after, and we would play all these shows, and like I got really comfortable on stage and kind of started getting my 10,000 hours playing shows, but it didn't mean anything unless I had great songs. And that was my goal like the last 4 years, is to make an album. And it just got mastered last week, so it was a pretty
dude.
Pretty awesome like accomplishment for sure. So many hundreds of songs went into that, and like you know, I've made like friendships for life working with people, and so there's no substitute for being in Nashville, where the best writers are. Like trying to write the best song out of anyone in town that day is like usually the goal. And I feel like I have a collection of songs that represent me and where I'm from, and the time I spent in Arizona and Texas, and a little bit in Nashville. So
yeah. So what's growing up in Arizona like? What do you do in Arizona?
Play sports, and when you in high school, like go to house parties, and there's not a whole lot, you know. It's hot, and like it's kind of like going to the moon. There's just a bunch of rocks, you know,
rocks,
and not a lot of trees. But it's fun, man. Like Phoenix, Scottsdale area where I grew up.
I hear Scottsdale's a lot of fun.
That's really where I'm from. It's a good time, you know. Not a lot of people listen to country music growing up, so I was kind of like that one dude that liked it. It was fun, man. Like I love going back now.
Yeah, what gets you into it? Like what gets you into country music?
My dad.
Your dad?
Yeah, he was a tour promoter and always had like guitars lying around the house, and that's how I learned guitar.
So what was your first show that your dad brought you to?
I always grew up going to Garth concerts.
Dude.
He's the best.
One
of the best that ever was.
So almost every show that you've been to, like that's hard to top. Like as a first concert, like growing up going to Garth shows,
dude. Well, I think like
that's wild.
I saw that it was that was possible, and so like all my life, that's what I wanted to do because I grew up going and seeing that.
Was that at the Cardinals Stadium?
No, it was. I think like. I mean, I've been to a bunch of Garth shows like in Kansas City and Portland, and
so you got to travel and see how
like growing up, yeah.
And you got to see that it's more than like that he's that big where his show goes over like that anywhere around the world.
Oh my god, dude! Like I've been to, he like did two shows in the same night, and I went to both shows.
Yeah.
And he recycled the audience. And the second show was like, both of them were like 2-3 hours. The second show was even better. He like had more energy. It was fucking insane, dude. Yeah. But yeah, so I saw that, and then like my mom took me to a Keith Urban concert, and I was like a huge John Mayer fan. And
So you love guitar playing.
yeah, I
You're a
wouldn't
guitar
say
guy.
I'm that good of a guitar player,
But you appreciate it if you're watching Keith Urban and John Mayer at a young age. Like those are two very very
those are the
very
guys,
good guitar
man.
players.
Yeah, dude, those are my favorite. And even just like John Mayer is like a songwriter. Like he writes country music too. You know, like that Born and Raised album.
Yeah.
And we actually had I wrote a song. This is a crazy story. I used to like fall asleep listening to the John Mayer version of Free Fallin'. Like I want to do that one day. I don't know if you've heard that that version, but one of the dudes playing with him is David Ryan Harris, and like a few years ago, I got the opportunity to write with David Ryan Harris, and
Oh shit.
the first song we wrote was Still Smokin' that made my EP.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. And then he actually got Aaron Sterling, who played on a lot of the John records, to play drums on my record, and he played on our album, and it's like so sick. Aaron Sterling played half the drums on the album, and then Adam Box, the drummer from the Brothers Osborne, played on the other half.
Fuck,
so.
dude.
I
That's
know.
exactly what you're saying. Opportunity being here in Nashville, like
You can't get that in Texas, I don't think.
You can't get that anywhere else.
No. You're right.
Not even like back in the day when shit was popping in LA. Like there's just such a hub for everything right now.
It's fun, man. Like I'm living the dream. It's so cool. I'm definitely like not where I want to be, but I think like all you can ask for is like just have fun and like try not to like put too much pressure on things. You know?
Well, that's just it. Like the keeping your blinders on when
Right.
you're an artist. Even with me being a podcaster and being
it's
a writer's
hard.
round guy, like there's all these different events and all these different rounds in town and all these different like podcasts and people doing the personality thing and working with artists. Like you always see like people like they same thing they told me in AA. Identify, don't compare. Identify, but like keeping your blinders on and really focusing on you and just working your ass off. There's something to be said for that. Like, are you happy? Like, you've been here, what, 4 years, you said? So from 4 years ago to now, you got a damn record coming out. You got...
It's crazy. It's awesome.
How long have you been with Virgin?
This is the first project we've put out with them. So we've been talking with them for the last year or so, and it took a minute for us to like get on the same page and get everything ready. And but they've been an incredible partner, dude. It's been such a dream come true.
And I love what they're building of having different sounds, like not your like between what you're doing, what Jillian's doing.
Lauren Weintraub.
Lauren's one of my favorites. Little Red.
Dude, we wrote together like a long time ago. We wrote a song called Cheap Beer Years and still have the demo. And like we've been friends ever since, so it's like really cool that we're on the same team, and I see her a lot now, and like we're all rooting for each other. So.
Yeah, she was one of the first rounds I ever saw in Nashville.
Oh, really?
I saw Belcourt Taps. Do you know SJ McDonald? So SJ was a friend of mine I moved down here. I bounced on Broadway for my first year in town, and I got to know SJ because she would play over at the stage.
Cool.
And she at the time was like 18, 19 years old, and was like, "Hey, I'm playing tonight. It's at this place called Belcourt Taps."
Dude,
It's a
that was the
tiny little-
spot when you first come to
it's a
town.
ti-
Like
yeah.
you're looking for an opportunity as a writer, like Belcourt Taps, dude.
Yeah, and it was cool because I had just moved to town, so I didn't know anybody, and I saw SJ on stage with a little baby Lauren Weintraub.
Yeah,
I think
had to be a long time ago.
yeah, this was 2018, and so to see her doing what she's doing now, it's and the way that she writes, it's pretty wild.
She is an incredible singer, an incredible writer, and like she knows who she is.
And she's great at the social media thing. Her
Oh,
personality,
dude, she's
like
so good at it, man. I'm not very good at that piece. I'm trying to work on it, but that's like the blinders thing, dude. Like I was on the way over here, like I try to go on TikTok every now and then to see like what people are doing and what's working. I was like, oh, like that guy's doing well, and like.
But that works for him. That might not work for you.
I know exactly. It's a balance because like you can. Like you talked about having a video take off, like that can actually make a huge difference in like getting Spotify to like put it on a better playlist and you know, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's like, you know, I want to work harder and take things into my own hands. And I feel like really right now, the only way besides getting out and playing shows is like, you know, TikTok.
Yeah. And what's cool about the world that we live in now is you can really get fans all over the world now because everybody's got one of these things. So it's like,
yeah, dude, it's like a challenge, but I think it's something that as artists we have to embrace and find a way to like make it an extension of my art, you know? And that is really the hard part is like figuring out what I'm comfortable with and like what I'm proud of, like making art that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
And it is art. I think it is.
What's your favorite social media app? Like, what do you?
Instagram.
So you're taking a shit. You're scrolling on Instagram.
If I could decide how I wanted to do my social media, I would literally go the opposite direction. I would only post film pictures and only post like film like Super 8 on my Instagram. Like, I think that would be cool. Like a vintage, like Midland, kind of thing, but only use don't use digital. Like that could be kind of cool. Like that could be kind of like a hook,
Like Polaroid kind of thing?
Yeah. I meant to bring my film camera. It's in my car, but I had a buddy in college who would carry around a disposable camera and would like put new film in it and like would develop it in his bathroom like at 2 a.m. in the morning and would like post it the next day on his Instagram. And it was always the coolest, like grainy, like flash, like film picture. I'm like, I want to like take that and bring it a little bit into like country music and
that'd be really
social
cool.
media. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, dude, that's badass. We our bass player on the road, Trey's bass player, Mitch, he likes all kinds of like old vintage shit. He comes out with he'll sometimes bring out a little disposable.
It's so fun, dude. And you get like 2 weeks later, it's like Christmas morning. You forgot you took those pictures when you were blackout and like you see them come back.
Yeah, there's some wild pictures that we've
especially on the Trey Lewis tour, dude. I can only imagine.
You see all kinds of wild shit. So for you came up doing the music thing. Were you doing the music thing in Arizona before you went down to Texas?
I was really just writing songs in high school after soccer practice, When I first got to college in Austin, the first winter break I came back and we had all these songs I'd written and I wanted to start playing shows. So my dad was like, what's next? I'll support you. We'll go get a producer and record a few songs.
Sick.
And so one of the songs I wrote senior year of high school that we recorded called Damn Good Time. We actually got played on the highway.
Fuck yeah.
And I was like 18 years old. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I came out pretty much every summer of college. I lived here in Nashville and interned as an excuse to be out here just to write and meet, start, getting, involved with the community. And so, we got the song on the highway and like that started like opening doors in Austin for us to like play shows and, get some stuff on 6th Street and, I think it's important. You just put one foot in front of the other and put a song out and see how that does and like start playing shows and then you start coming to Nashville. And so that's how I've been doing it. It's been cool. Like every year I just look back and it's like crazy to see how far I've come. So I'm excited to like just keep doing it, Yeah.
Is there one show that really like stands out where that crowd was wild? Whether it's a frat party, whether it's a cover, whether it's opening for someone, whether it's acoustic writers round, whatever. Is there one where you're like, I won't forget that?
Yeah. There's this amphitheater outside of Austin called the Nutty Brown Cafe. And the booker like owned a few of the bars that we would play on 6th Street, and so he would call us every now and then if he had like an act coming through. So we opened for Cody Johnson one time, but this show was Cole Swindell and a fresh off the voice Morgan Wallen opening for Cole, and then me,
long hair, not even mullet, just long
hair,
wavy.
black t-shirt, black jeans. I still got the picture, and dude, I mean, we were playing like Sex on Fire. I like had like I didn't know like. I was so bad, dude. I was terrible, but like we were sound checking at like 4 and the doors were at 5 and there was like, it was raining during our sound check and there was a line like outside around the parking lot because it was like so sold out.
Yeah.
And we went on first and everyone was in it. It was like all 4,000 people were already there, dude.
Fuck yeah.
So like, like we were all excited and like, we put all our energy out there on stage and like, did the best we could, but like I look back on those videos now, I'm like, oh my God, we were so bad.
But the crowd was still into it. So even as you're figuring it out, you're either a performer or you're not. And you guys, it sounds like were giving it.
We were, dude. Me and my like fraternity buddies, like I feel like a crowd like has grace for like someone who's new and they can tell like, oh, he's just some kid like trying to make it happen. Like I think they get that and want to support. So. I wish we had more of those opportunities now, but I'm like not in Austin anymore, so it's not like those just come easy, But I'm excited, dude. Like I said, like we have this EP out now, and it's been like 4 years since I released music, so it feels like we're getting going again.
Why so long?
Well, I
Because
wanted
that is the traditional album cycle. Is
It
like
is.
3-4 years. That is how it had been going for a long
Right.
time.
Well, we put out a single in between my EP when I first moved here and now called About Last Night.
Yeah.
And it did good. Like, it got on a bunch of cool, like, wild country and playlists and stuff. But, you know, I didn't have, like, a sick team yet. And I wanted to, like, build, first of all, I wanted to, like, make an album, like, something that has a concept to it.
Which makes a lot of sense hearing your musical background. You're an albums guy.
I
You grew
am.
up listening to records from front to back.
Yeah,
Tells a story.
that's what I don't know. I like Sturgill, you know,
Yep.
we talked about earlier. Like, he makes albums, and Eric Church does, and so I wanted to wait to really know who I was in terms of a 12, 14 song album, but I also wanted a great team because, like, I didn't want to waste songs by putting them out without a strong team. It's like
Yeah.
if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was careful. Like that damn Denver song, I would have been sitting on it for like 3 years, and like we could have put it out, but I don't know. I feel like I'm glad I was patient with it because now we have a strategy and a plan, and we can follow up with more songs. You know, back then we really just had like Way Back When and Damn Denver, and like didn't know what the plan was. You know?
Yeah.
So
Was Damn Denver a true story?
yeah. I was dating a girl for a few months, and she called me one night and was like, "I'm moving to Denver." And here's the funny part of the story is I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't necessarily like trying to move forward with her, and I was like looking for an out. And she called me and she's like, "Yeah, you know, moving to Denver." And my roommates were with me, and I was like, "Oh no!" I'm so bummed. And I'm like high-fiving my roommates. I was like, yes, all right.
There's your out.
But I was like, damn, Denver, like that would be a cool song idea. And I don't know. I think that's like part of the thing is it doesn't have to be like so real, but that we wrote it that next week with Melissa Fuller and Andy Skibb. And that was the first time I wrote with those guys, and now they have like all the cuts on my album. And
Fuck
my EP,
yeah.
So
That's how I know it's going to be like an album. When you hear that it's a lot of the same co-writers,
Yep.
because you guys are all working on it together. Not that
We're
there's
on the
anything,
same page.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with having different co-writers on different songs in an album, but like that's really like you guys are. Those are. Did you go on like a retreat with them and like write it all at one time, or was it over
the last 4 years? And that's kind of another thing too, is like when I was looking to figure out who I was and what my sound was, it's like I was also looking for the songwriters that matched up, you know. It's
Could
like the
help you tell your
speed dating
stories.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it took a minute to find the right people, and now I have like a crew of like 6 to 8 people that we all write with that believe in me
Yeah.
and want to write with me once or twice a month.
Your first cringy co-write.
Oh geez.
I'm guessing this is back in the intern days.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, I first started going to NSAI, the Nashville Songwriters Association, and they would have like pitch meetings and stuff. And that's how you met your first, you know, co-writers in town. And we used to like write in the basement of NSAI. And like,
Oh wow.
dude, I've had some cringy ones. Like, you know, like last week I had it. Like every other write feels like a cringy write sometimes.
Is that just part of having like just going with getting thrown in the
That's
rooms with
it.
different people?
Well,
It's just
It
figuring
doesn't
out
happen
what
as much
works?
anymore because now I have people that get what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, now I'm trying to think of like the craziest cringy write.
Or one that were like just one that stands out where you're like that was wild.
Okay, I've got one, and I don't want to say the dude's name.
You don't have to say names, no.
but
names.
he like is a hit writer.
Okay.
And you know, I think like you know, he's got this big studio down in like Brentwood, and like I was like stoked to write with him. No idea, and show up, and he's like our third person in the room walks out. He's like, "Hey, dude, this guy is like on like an interview," and like we waited for like an hour for him to like get off an interview, and he sits down at his studio at his desk, and he's like, "So like, who have you written with that I've heard of?" And like just started like putting me in these most like uncomfortable situation. Like he just like play me some of your songs, so I play him this one, and then I want to show my range, so I play him one that doesn't sound like that. He goes, "Dude, these two songs like aren't similar. Like, who are you?" I'm like, "Bro, like,
That's the
you
point.
you were just on an interview for an hour, and you're being like kind of a dick." You know, it's like I will never like put myself in that situation again. But so it was like a good learning experience. I've had like a few of those, but I think the whole thing is just like being confident in yourself, and like when you put yourself in those situations, sometimes it's hard to be confident, you know?
Yeah, and you have. I think the idea of going in is like they have that, especially if you haven't written with these guys or girls before. Is like, hey, I'm Tyler. Nice to meet you. Tell me about like you guys get to know each other. That's part of the writing process, right?
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, you know, like to be fair, like I don't know if it was the right matchup. You know,
Yeah. Well, I'm
to
just saying, like,
begin
'cause
with,
I've
but
never been in a writer's room. I've never gotten a. I
I
want
feel
to.
like you could do it.
One time, I want to just be chilling in a room, or
Fly
like
on the wall.
be hiding in that like bathroom. over
Turn
there.
these cameras on while
Be
Trey's
like,
writing.
Yeah, be like, yo, Trey, I got a fourth. You know, like.
I got an
like
idea for a song. My dad will text me every now and then and be like, yo, I got a great song idea for you. I'm like, it's so bad.
Does your dad still work in the promoter world?
No, he does his own stuff. He like works in the railroad business, and he's like an entrepreneur. So he like has a bunch of failed businesses, and like has a few that continue to.
Well, the
work.
railroad thing, that's a very Western thing.
He actually made me work on it one summer of college. So my buddy and my band and I like literally would put on steel-toed boots and drive out to like Gonzales, Texas, like an hour and a half outside of Austin. We would do like our vocal exercises and practice singing in the car on the way there. We'd get all sweaty, like in like literally like 100-degree Texas heat, and like would drive back and then go to like 6th Street or something. It was like the dream, dude.
Working on, is that like sledgehammer, like building railroad?
Our job was we had these like bags. My dad like has this business that like cleans the insides of the oil cars, and so we would have to like.
That sounds messy as fuck.
We would be on our like bright green and yellow, vest, and climb up this ladder with our steel toed, and like we'd be in a harness because like if we fell in, it would be like super dangerous. But
yeah,
we would like it would spend like 20 minutes on each car. We'd have to like crank open the top of it and hang this like bag that would soak up the moisture, and we would latch it on and crank it back up, and we would have to do like 20 cars or 15 cars, and it would like take a few hours, and then we would just drive back to Austin.
Damn,
it was fun.
That's a hell of a college summer job right there.
It was a lot, dude. But he was like, dude, you need to learn how to like work, dude. Like you're playing on 6th Street, like you're having fun, like. But
that is work though. Lugging your gear from bar to bar, dealing with crazy drunks. Dude. I mean, it can be. There
were dudes on the railroad that worked way harder.
Okay, manual labor's another thing. Yeah,
but I don't know. Like it was such a good lesson. Like you have to work hard to succeed, and like if you don't want to do this, like you better put it all into music, because that's what's going to pay off if you work hard at it.
Yeah. Was that so? What was like your first job growing up as a kid?
I worked interned at like a radio station.
Oh, sick.
At a sports station.
Oh, cool.
On like the sales side, so like I would have to like call and try and get like cold call people to get sell.
I did
spots.
that. I did that
too.
It
was hard, dude.
Dude, I did the stuff, and then
lead generation is what they call
lead generation and Salesforce and this, that, and the other thing, and trying to sell digital because nobody's buying radio anymore, and this, that, and the other thing. And what was the name of it? Was it one of the big companies, or was it like a local
KTAR in Arizona, a sports station?
Oh, I didn't know if it was like an iHeart or like a Cumulus or like a Beasley.
I think it's like a Cumulus deal.
Oh, does a Cumulus deal? Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Because then you have all the corporate stuff that's involved in that. They tried to get me to do that, man. Like when I was working, because radio doesn't pay. Radio, similar to music. Yeah. I spent a lot of nights sleeping on my boss's couch because my house where I grew up was far away from the radio station. I'd sleep on my program director, Debbie's couch.
That's wild.
Overnight, because I'd have to get up and either go to an event with the van.
That's the thing is the events, dude.
I did.
That's the shit.
I did the events, and then I'd be the what they call the swing man. So Joel and Marianne need a day off. I'm covering them more. I'm just getting thrown in. 20.
Show up, you sign up the tent, and you do the table.
Well, why would do that? But I'm saying I would get thrown into running the morning show by myself at 20 years old, like in the studio.
That's got to be frightening as a 20-year-old.
Yeah, with all these loyal Soccer Mom listeners out there wanting me to...
What is wrong with Soccer Mom?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the same music over and over and over again.
They're not listening to like new music. Like they just want to hear Keith Urban and Blake Shelton, like...
That wasn't even a country station.
Oh, really? Okay.
Stevie Nicks. It's in Jersey. Bon Jovi. Bruce Springsteen, since we're in Jersey.
Yeah, of course.
The Kings, or the Boss, I guess. Then a lot of Billy Joel. Dude, a lot of Cyndi Lauper. I heard a lot of Cyndi Lauper and Cher.
That's a lot.
And it's the same songs every couple hours.
You know what? I do love, like, Bruce Springsteen's, like, one of my heroes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's great music. It's just when you hear it 4 times a day, it's a lot.
He put out this concert that he did from, like, 1979, like, the No Nukes concert, basically, was what it's called.
Yeah.
And it's, like, a full hour and a half of him performing. And it's so hard to find, like, a good old Bruce Springsteen show. It's the craziest thing, dude. He's doing splits on stage, and he's, like, that's a true entertainer right there, man. Like,
yeah, he was a king. Those 70s rock guys. I mean, like even my family's been to see. I haven't been, but my mom and my stepdad have been to see Billy Joel at the Garden. Like, because he was doing those before COVID. He was doing those shows like once every 2 months. He did like, or it was even once a month where he was playing at the Garden. Once a month, he set the record for most sold out shows at the Garden.
Oh, wow!
Because he's old.
He should have that record. He's Mr. New York.
He is Mr. New York, but like those shows where they could just go for hours.
My favorites are Bruce Springsteen, like Tom Petty, the Eagles, like the rock and roll songwriters, you know, that kind of were influenced by old country music and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and I have a hard time like seeing how those guys would like do TikTok today.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would, but I'm sure they would have to.
Yeah, they'd have to figure out a way because, I mean, back then they were doing magazine interviews they probably didn't want to do.
Right.
Which it's kind of crazy to think about. Like in 1979, Tom Petty's annoyed to talk to the Rolling Stone.
Right.
Like that's the kind of shit they were doing. It was that traditional media. It was going on Johnny Carson. It was talking with who was the guy that did the Bob Kingsley did the country top 40. Who was the guy that was the famous radio DJ? I think Seacrest does it now, where it was like the American top 40 or whatever, like radio and all that stuff.
The TV shows.
Yeah, and then going to record stores was like a big thing too for them. Which now it's like those don't even.
I just feel like those guys were so cool, and like on
it
TikTok,
was so
it's
about
hard
the
to be
music.
cool, and it's hard to be about the music because like now it's about like the story about the little clip, you know, and it's I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I struggle sometimes with, like, I just want to be, like, write great songs and perform them and, like, make cool music videos for them.
Well, maybe that's what your audience wants. Maybe
right.
maybe they're just like you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where audience tend to be a lot like them, especially if they're authentic.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not even on the damn TikTok.
You're right.
Who knows?
I'm not on it as much as, like, I should be. Like, I don't really use it, so I have a hard time trying to figure out how to, like, I'd rather go, like, read a book. Like, as crazy as that sounds, like, I want to wake up and, like, read and be inspired and to write a song.
When was the last time you read a book?
This morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck. I haven't read a book in a long time.
That's how I get a lot of, like, my inspiration.
Yeah, McElwain, when was the last time you read a book?
Oh, man, probably maybe high school.
Oh, geez, yes. That was like 17, 15 years ago.
I'm probably, like, around,
I'm
like...
not that old.
I'm not saying I read every day, but, like, I'm probably at, like, 8 to 10 books a year.
8 to 10 books a year?
That's not bad.
So were you born? No, it's not. That's great.
I didn't love reading in high school. Like, I didn't read in college.
No,
like,
reading is good. Not reading is bad. So
all I do is, like, I just read the Robbie Robertson book. He's, like, the guitar player from the band. Like, I love, like, music. Like, I've read the Bruce Springsteen one twice, like the Tom Petty one. Like, I just like books about music and kind of about what I'm doing.
So you're like a student of music. Like you just enjoy hearing the story.
Say that, but yeah,
I mean like learning the history.
It's fun to relate to
bands,
them in their rise. Like, I'll just stop reading around once they're like, you know, they've had a bunch of hits and they're famous. Like, I don't care about the end of their career. I want to know, how did Bruce like get to where he was, or how did like the Eagles or Stevie Nicks like get to like. How were like,
what was their grind?
Not only that, but how did they make their art, and like the care that they put behind it, and like what was their like outlook on making music, and you know, just all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool to like.
It's inspiring.
Do you stick to like that era, or will you
like strictly 70s? You mean?
Yeah, strictly 80s Joel.
Yeah, 70s mustache artists. That's where like my heart is, dude. Like the Stones and the Eagles and Tom Petty and Bruce Springsteen and James Taylor and all those guys. Fleetwood Mac.
Well, you look at like the 90s countries. Will you look into the country genre though? Or like you were saying, they were inspired a lot by what was coming out of the country world in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
so
like
like
George Strait is my favorite. Garth Brooks, that kind of stuff. Like I never got on the Alan Jackson train really, or like the Brooks and Dunn. Like I like their music, but I've never like sunk my teeth into it.
Like post-Garth 90s just wasn't really your...
No, I feel like I missed a little bit of that, but I did like grow up on like Tim McGraw and Kenny Chesney and like
I feel like all of us did the No Shoes, No Shirts, No Problem record.
Yes, dude. Classic. I love when he sings that Boston song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me as a New Yorker, like I always want to hate Boston and find reasons to say like, yo, fuck Boston,
Dude.
fuck Philly, like all that stuff. But it's the fans up there and the very far part of the Northeast. Like I think it was 2018 or 2019. Kenny only played a couple shows that year, and I think 2 of the 3 or 4 of them were at Gillette Stadium.
Yeah. What is that with Kenny Chesney in Boston? Is it that one song?
I think he made the song because of the
he loved it.
relationship
You're right.
he had with him. Same thing. Zach Brown usually plays at Fenway Park every year. There's just that. There's just certain cities take on to certain artists very well. Like I remember when I was with Muscadine, for whatever reason, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Wow.
They would like people go banana. Little Rock, Arkansas. They're from Alabama, and Arkansas is not even a damn border state. But they, for whatever reason, it's like.
But I
Little
get,
Rock, Arkansas is
dude.
big with
Little
them.
Rock people work hard, man.
Yeah,
they're
but
hard
there's
workers.
certain cities that jump
crazy.
to certain artists' music. So for you, is there? Have you toured outside of
Denver.
Texas? Denver.
Honestly, like my biggest following right now is in Denver.
Really? Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Grizzly Rose Squad.
Yeah,
No, I
they're
mean
good.
Austin, Denver, Phoenix. You know that your classics. It's also hard because I feel like it'd be great if I had a fan base in like Indianapolis. I could just drive right up there, but
Yeah.
it's not easy to go tour in Denver from Nashville.
No, it's not. We've done that before. And
Yeah.
it's a haul to
Yeah,
get out
you gotta
there.
do it. Yeah, we booked like a self-booked tour and throughout Texas like a few years ago
Oh, cool.
before COVID, and it was fun, dude. We put everything, rented a van, like put everything in there, like broke even, but like
Hey,
drove back at like 11 p.m. right after the show. Yeah.
Congrats on breaking even, because a lot of people that do those tours,
Mm-hmm.
like touring is tough.
I broke even because I have some loyal band members that care and want to see me succeed. So
Yeah.
that's why. But yeah, dude, I want to do more of that because I think that's what I'm best at.
So is that kind of
performing.
so your goal is obviously records coming
Mm-hmm.
this year?
We have the EP out, which is 6
EP's
songs.
out, yeah.
EP just came out. We're gonna start putting out a new single probably in August and just keep it going and then lead to the record. I have a 14-song album mastered, so I'm dying to get it out. But I feel like you gotta
give
give
everything
each
its
song its
time.
moment. Because like
Yeah.
if you drop a record, like people don't have the attention span to listen to 14 songs. You know,
Yeah, you can't just do it SoundCloud rapper style.
no,
That can be tough.
You know what did happen? That Damn Good Time song when I was a freshman in college. I
Yeah.
put it up on SoundCloud and like overnight it got 100,000 listens.
Wow.
It was crazy.
That's big.
Pre-TikTok virality, SoundCloud virality.
What do you think did it? Were you guys
No
were you guys
idea.
playing at parties and stuff, and like
It just
someone just
connected on
shared
the
a link?
algorithm.
It just
It was
hit?
random.
And it wasn't even just people in Austin. It was
No,
like
it
all
was
over the
just
place.
random, dude. Like I did hashtags on there and it just like worked. So maybe SoundCloud is where my fan base is.
Maybe, bro. That's
Who knows?
That's what I was joking around with Tyler Halverson. He's like, bro, I just want to drop a SoundCloud. I'm like, bro, fucking do you.
When Sam Hunt first came out, he had that Between the Pines mixtape on
dude,
SoundCloud.
that's huge.
Like it was like he had Raised on it on the highway, and then
Yeah.
if you went to his Instagram, he just had a little link to SoundCloud. I literally like burned CDs for my friends and gave them this. I was like, "This is the next big thing, country music," and he blew up, dude.
What was on your high school mixtape of like different songs that you were?
Oh, wow.
Because like we all had a CD.
Yeah.
Because you and I are around the same age. We had that. You're what, 26, 27?
27,
Yeah.
26. It's 126.
So we're right around. I'm 27, so we're at that same age
Yeah.
where we would make. We had the old iTunes or the old LimeWire or whatever or SoundCloud, and we would burn the CD, but it wasn't all the same genre. It was all different
Weird.
songs. What
Dude,
was on your shit?
I like John Mayer, like the Half of My Heart.
Okay.
Dude, like it's so I don't listen to Taylor Swift now, but she was kind of an inspiration, like country music, young person, like blowing up,
Songwriting.
songwriting. So like John Mayer, like Keith, like I'm trying to think of like what Keith Urban song, like Put You in a Song, dude.
Yeah.
Like Long Hot Summer, like
Yeah.
that shit, like was so cool to me, dude. And like again, like songs that worked in a live setting.
Was
like,
there a song that we would not have expected that was like way out in left field, like a guilty pleasure song?
Was Taylor Swift not enough for you on that one?
No, well, that was in that. That's in that kind of. That's still in like that. I'm saying like,
Dude, what about like The Fray, dude? Like Over My Head, you know?
oh, dude, Cable Car.
Yeah.
Dude. I remember the first time I heard that song was on an airplane going on vacation with my family to Orlando, and it was just I was watching MTV on the little like JetBlue baby. At that point, they were little itty bitty TV monitors, and I remember seeing the music video for that, being like, "This is kind of cool." I don't know what it means. I'm in like the 4th grade, but
No, I mean, I still don't know what I mean. Yeah, dude. All those songs, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like even today, like, I don't just listen to country, dude. I just listen to like Kings of Leon and like Remy Wolf and Still Woozy and like all these Hiss Golden Messenger, who has just had like a #1 in Americana. Like,
hell yeah,
he's my favorite, dude. So I think it's fun, like turning people on to new music, and I always love finding artists that nobody knows about.
yeah. Do you feel like you kind of dive into that Americana world a little bit with your shit?
I'd like to go more into that.
Okay.
You know, I to like this Way Back When EP is definitely like country.
Yeah.
You know, Way Back When and Damn Denver kind of more down the middle. There's a lot of songs on the rest of the album that aren't so like, you know, modern country, which is fun. I definitely, my heart is in more of that Americana.
Yeah, if you were to tell someone if someone were to ask you what is Americana music, what would you define it as? Because I feel like it's so
It
people
reminds
just kind of
me
throw
of
the word
just
out
old
there.
rock and roll, dude. Like, I still think it's singer-songwriters. I don't think it's far from country. Like Sturgill, I would consider Americana.
Isbell.
Isbell.
Childers?
Yeah. Well, he's country. He's also country, dude.
Zach Bryan. Where does he fit?
He is.
Because he's very songwriter acoustic. Like there's not much electric on much of his stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
that's
I
a
know
little
the
more
new record.
folk to me.
So folk doesn't really fall into the American.
It does. It's all just like a.
That's what I'm saying.
Stirring
It's like,
pot,
it's
dude.
weird right now because there's so many different things going in so many different directions, and there's
Yeah.
like little elements of each thing.
But I think it's great for.
It is great.
for what I want to do.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, dude. And there's like so many different niche fans out there. There's people that love Zach Bryan. There's people that love like the Luke Combs thing or the Morgan Wallen thing. It's like you can just at this point, I feel like I'm free to make whatever I want and not have to worry about being country, but like still my heart is in country. That's what I grew up on, and like I think a good example of someone that is like the energy that I want to have is like a Sheryl Crow, dude. Like she's got like 1 foot in country, 1 foot in Americana, and like still does like pop and rock, you know. And she has that like kind of like Margot Price does, but I don't know, dude. I'm not trying to like categorize myself.
Yeah, that's very true. So some Nashville questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this is the most Mexican food I've ever been around. Coming from New York, this is the furthest south I've lived.
Dude, that is my jam, bro. Like all I eat is tacos.
But what was it like coming from Texas, Taco Central, right there on the border, to up here? Like,
I still think Arizona.
Arizona too. You're from Arizona.
Yeah,
Fuck, I forget. Yeah, that's.
Well, yeah. Texas, Mexican food's different everywhere. Texas is very Tex-Mex heavy, you know, kind of dirty. Arizona, I feel like, is a little like more authentic Mexican food, like corn tortillas and like good stuff. Here, I'm all about the food trucks, dude. Like
those, dude. You drive around Antioch and you find the right food truck.
We did a food truck crawl on Nolensville Pike,
bro,
for my TikTok,
dude.
And we hit like 5 trucks and ranked them all. They were all amazing. It was fun. There's one in 5 Points, Cheap Charlie's Tacos. We'll go every Saturday night and get breakfast tacos at like 8 or 9 p.m. It's so fun. He sees me every time. He's like, I'm like, dude, thank you so much, bro, for making the eggs and going out of your way to make us breakfast tacos. He's like, anytime. So that's
awesome.
fun. Moss Tacos is good.
And Moss Tacos is very
Great.
good.
I love tacos. I could survive off of that.
Oh yeah. So Mexicans, your favorite food. What's your favorite place staying out? Your favorite bar?
Here in town? Dude, I like Rosemary.
I've heard a lot of people talk. I was actually at Red Door East yesterday, and Rosemary's over in East, right? As I heard people talking about it,
right
saying
there.
that it's a cool. I don't hang out in East ever.
Yeah,
I just don't. It's just I'm never over there.
We're
I'm usually
I guess
here.
if you don't drink anymore, it's like.
Well, I mean, I still go out and do whatever. I mean, everybody needs a DD, right? And I'm still like to be involved in the scene. You kind of for me like it's still being out there and going out or whatever. I'm over here in Midtown a lot.
Yeah,
like just being around the songwriters.
Dude, Whiskey
and
Jam and all that stuff is so much fun.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, did you go to any of the parking lot shows?
I used to go to a lot of them.
I used to go to a lot too.
And then I started touring.
It's hot. It's crammed.
Yeah, and it's like when you're gone. I mean, we're pretty much gone Wednesday or Thursday. This is a rare week off that we have, but it's like Wednesday or Thursday to like Sunday. We're gone, and I'm TMing, so I'm getting paid to be in a rowdy crowd and in a packed area.
Yeah.
It's like on a Monday do I want to go?
It's pretty packed, but
it gets packed. But I love what it does. It serves such a big
stands for and what it represents, dude. It's like the troubadour in the 70s. It's like it is literally like a rite of passage.
Yeah, I respect it and I appreciate it. And I used to go all the time, but now it's just like when I'm gone on the road at shows 3-4 nights a week, it's tough to come back and do that.
I don't blame you, dude.
But I wish I could go.
I have a hard enough time going, and I live in town on the weekends. It's like.
Well, it gets so busy.
Yeah, it's packed in there, which is a great thing. Like you want it to be busy. But
now, where do you think? I mean, eventually they're gonna have to take it to another level.
Or they just start doing shows on Wednesdays. Like less people will come out on Mondays and Thursdays.
Well, what'll happen is the tourist cycle, and I learned the tourist cycle when I was on Broadway. Folks come in on a Wednesday and they leave on a Sunday or Monday.
So they can be here for Whiskey Jam.
Well, that's just
more
when
people
they come in.
outside of town are figuring out about Whiskey Jam.
Yeah, so more people. So you do it on Wednesday, it'll still be packed, but it'll be all tourists.
And just then, like the next Nashville show, instead of the Bluebird, it'll be like Whiskey Jam, and then Whiskey Jam will become like the touristy thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is, and I think Ward's done such a good job of building that brand. Do you remember the first time you went to a Whiskey Jam? You've played Whiskey Jam, right?
I played like 4 times.
Hell yeah!
My first time was, I was living here between junior year and senior year of college, interning at Starstruck Studios down the street, and went to all the Whiskey Jams and like made friends and like.
Remember the first person you saw where you were like, this is really fucking cool? Remember your first Whiskey Jam who was playing?
Oh geez, dude. I mean, like the stuff that made me think it was cool is like the Peyton Manning showing up and like all that stuff. Like I couldn't tell you who I first saw playing Whiskey Jam, but I was very like intimidated. Like, wow, I want to do that one day, which is crazy to think. Like now I'm like comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
it's like a whole weird, like I said, like a rite of passage.
Yeah, my first Whiskey Jam. Do you know Ryan Nelson?
Dude, he's a great example of the first person I saw play Whiskey Jam.
That is the first person I saw.
Dude, maybe we were at the same Whiskey Jam.
It was the night that Show Up Drunk came out.
Dude, how long ago was that? Like
that
4 years ago?
September of 2018.
Damn.
It might have been.
Damn. Well, dude, like for example, him playing Whiskey, he's like the perfect Whiskey Jam artist because like he's like a rowdy fucking dude and like
he's a one of a kind.
He's a one of a kind up there and he's like confident up there and it's like that's what Whiskey Jam's all about.
Yeah, Ward said. Well, I've heard Ward say if Whiskey Jam had a face, it would be a drunk Ryan Nelson.
That's perfect.
And he's the guy for Rowdy on the Row.
Yep.
Have you heard about this Mayor Ryan Nelson thing that we're doing?
No.
We've so Ryan does have a poli-sci degree from Florida State, and we've said what thing it would be. We made a Ryan Nelson for mayor. Ryan Nelson
I would
for
vote
mayor.
for him.
I feel like with all the musicians and all the people that he's known from his like 8 collective years living in town, he might get some vote. I just want to see him on the debate stage. I want to see Ryan Nelson
hammered
on stage
with a bush light,
just debating, no shoes on, talking about how Gators ain't shit and this, that, and all the Florida things.
I love what he does, man. Well, that's someone who knows who he is. And
again, the authenticity. And he's a hell of a songwriter. People fucking sleep on him, dude. I've seen his Dropbox folder of of songs.
He's like CoWetzel before CoWetzel was a thing to me. Like he has that same energy.
Yeah, and you think about how long he's been in town, and he was here when like Revival got started, when like around when Whiskey Jam got started. Like he's seen all that. He calls himself the drunk uncle of Music Row.
That's so funny. Yeah, I used to on the weekends when couple years ago during COVID and needed a job, I was driving pontoon boats on Percy Priest Lake.
Oh, sick! Yeah,
one of the guys that drove
James Kelly.
Yes.
Yep. High Tide Rides.
Yeah, dude.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know High Tide Rides?
I do. I used to work with Matt Crow on and then Dave Hangley and Jake Arch and all those guys.
Yeah.
Dave Hangley and Jake Arch are the guys that convinced me to move to town.
You're kidding.
No, I knew them because I was doing.
That was the best summer job ever.
Bro. Yeah, just bachelorettes everywhere. It's a great time.
80% bachelorette parties.
I used to live with Dakota.
Really?
Dakota Tate was my first roommate in town.
Who knew?
Me and him lived in Spring Hill. I worked with all those guys at Whiskey Row. We were all bouncers.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I had no idea.
Yeah. So
Well, I was gonna say like James is a writer and a buddy of Ryan's, and so I kind of know
they're
a little
actually,
bit.
yeah, they're actually roommates.
Yeah.
They live in the frat house together.
Is there a frat house?
Have you been over to that house?
haven't been over there.
Ryan Nelson has lived in the same spot since he moved to town, and the people that have lived there have rotated over the years. And he does it like backs up to.
They light up the
fire.
bonfires and the crates and the couches in the back.
Yeah, and he dances on the fire. Like I've seen a Ryan Nelson fire dance. It's the wildest shit I've ever seen.
I didn't know that.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
How have I not seen that on TikTok yet, dude?
I mean, I have. So all the things that you see on Ryan Nelson's TikTok are videos that I took of him during COVID. And his manager hit me up and was like, "Hey, do you have those videos of Ryan doing dumb shit when he was drunk?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Do you want me to delete him?" He's like, "No, send them to me. We want to post them." I'm like, "Fuck yeah."
Ryan Nelson from
Mayor.
there.
Yeah, we put that graphic up whenever he plays our writers round. We put Ryan Nelson for mayor. We have like a meme, and it's like his head with like the sunglasses on.
That's amazing.
So yeah, we're all in.
Who knew that we were connected in that way?
Yeah, dude, I'm surprised. That's wild because I only went out on those boats maybe like once or twice because I was already working with Muscadine at that point where they were going out on the weekends. So it was like I was out of town on the weekends, but that was like my first crew in town. Was Dave and Jake used to come on my college radio show when they were doing the artist thing in Jersey.
I think I made more fans driving the boat, and like they'd be like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm a singer songwriter. Like, play us something." Like, I made more fans on that boat than I have in the last 4 years in Nashville, like playing writers rounds and stuff, dude. Like, maybe I should go back and do it, and so I can get my shit out there.
You should do that, and you should document some of the shit that you see.
I had some crazy stories.
That's your content.
I've seen some weaves fly off of people while they're inner tubing. You know how some girls have like the fake hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've driven people in inner tube that didn't know how to swim, but they still wanted to.
Were you working there when the plane crashed and the person died? There was the plane that went
like
down.
A float plane?
No, like a plane like crashed in the Percy Priest, like sank. This was during COVID.
No way.
Yeah, it was like the lady on there was like a cult leader or something weird.
I didn't know.
Some weird
I didn't hear
shit.
about that.
You have to Google it. I didn't know if you were working Percy Priest like around the time that happened.
No.
There was some weird shit. There's some weird shit at the bottom of that lake.
Well, yeah, it was a town. Did you hear that story?
I didn't know that.
There was a town, and then like the Army Corps or whatever, engineering Army Corps, like needed to build a dam for this river or whatever, and so they bought out the town and flooded it. And so there's a town, like a town underneath Percy Priest.
There's a town under there?
Mm-hmm. In the 50s, I think, is when they did it.
What the fuck? Mm-hmm. I hope they got everybody out, I'm sure.
Yeah. Definitely not the one girl in that crashed the plane.
Jesus, that's crazy. What was so it was just what, a lot of bachelorettes?
A lot of like probably 80% bachelorette trips. And then like the worst was like seeing like a bunch of dudes walk up that were already hammered, like those guys were like pissing off the boat.
To the girls.
Yeah. They wanted to go to like the redneck cove and shit, and I don't know. My favorites were just like a small group that wanted to have fun and like chill, you know. But
yeah, you take them to a little island, they chill for like an hour or two.
Play some beer pong, and it was fun, dude. It was like I was working at like George Jones before that as like a bar back dude.
Do you know Andrew Cirilla?
Uh-uh.
Okay.
I only worked there for like a month.
Okay, so I have a buddy that used to work at George Jones too.
Oh, dude. I mean, I would like go up 3 flights of stairs carrying ice and like would have to run back down. And,
downtown grind.
Barely get paid and like park on the other side of the river and like go
Walk
over the
across
bridge.
the pedestrian bridge through all the people and
dude, it sucked. And then I was like at a friend's bonfire one night and I was like, I'm just looking for like a new gig. Like she's like, do you know how to drive boats? I was like, yeah, I didn't really. And I was like, sure. So I went and got my boating license in like 1 week and got the job and like had the best summer ever, dude. It's tough though, because like you do that for the summer and then what do you do in the wintertime? So I worked at like another bar.
It's very seasonal. What other bar were you at?
It was like a brand new house bar in East Nashville called the Golden Door. And so it was like brand new, so it wasn't the most efficiently run business. So I was just like doing everything from bar backing and pouring drinks and like serving tables and stuff. But
oh yeah.
dude, I'm doing music full time now, so that's
go.
all I can
That's
ask
what it's
for,
all
dude,
about, man.
you
That's
know?
what I'm. I mean, I'm not making music, but I'm like working in it full time. I'm not back. I haven't had to renew my guard card to do security,
dude,
in over 2
exactly.
years, and it has been a
Isn't
great
that crazy,
feeling.
dude? Like, do you ever feel like if this doesn't work out, I'll have to go back, or do you
I'm
feel
not
like
going
you're
back
in?
to New York. I can't afford that shit. I can barely afford to be here.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll wake up and be like, shit, man, and the song needs to do well so that I can like keep doing this full time. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I've like I'm fine to pick up other jobs if I need to stay down here,
Same.
but like I worked in a candle factory once.
That's cool.
It was great. It was very 420 friendly.
Dude, I have
Yeah.
that's funny you say that because I have so many like high ideas, like weed entrepreneurial ideas. One of them is if you're listening to this, like, don't steal this idea, is an ashtray that starts out as a candle. Because like a lot of like weed smokers will ash in their candle. That's like, you know, you're smoking, so you want to light a candle because your room's gonna smell.
Yeah.
And where else are you gonna ash it? In the candle. So imagine if the candle burns down and you have like an ashtray. It turns into an ashtray.
That would be really. I've never done the candle thing. I mean, we got a candle right there, so maybe later.
Yeah, you just need to engineer it so that. Have you seen like Joe Rogan's? Not Joe Rogan. Seth Rogen's. Like, he has like this whole pottery line that he makes, like ashtrays and bowls and like. It's cool.
That dude just made his money on movies and is now just doing whatever ideas he wants.
It's
Just
amazing.
Full
He's
entrepreneur.
so great, dude. He's so great. I mean, people like him give like stoners like me like the courage to like be proud of it and not like
Yeah.
ashamed of it. You
Yeah,
know?
I
Like,
mean, we were this podcast and the writers round were sponsored by a Delta 8 company for a long time. We did a
Really?
We did a 420 takeover last year.
dude,
And we
I want to
had
be a part of the next one.
and is it lined up on 420? And we had some of the Texas boys in town. We
Oh,
had
yeah.
Colby Cooper, Pecos from Pecos and the Rooftops, and Dylan Wheeler.
That's the crew.
They lit up on stage at Live Oak.
God, can you do that?
They weren't supposed to, so I had to go up and confiscate it. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to put it on the back alley." I ended up they forgot about it, so I just gave it to Ryan Nelson, and Ryan Nelson enjoyed it after the show.
That's amazing, dude. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so fun.
I embrace it too, man. To me, it's like some people like to drink, some people like to smoke. You know,
Yeah,
and
but
it's-
you don't wake up hungover. You know,
Exactly.
I'm not saying you should drive, but you can drive a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
And like I become friendlier, and like I don't eat up the calories. It's
a plant that was put here in the ground.
you're right,
Like it's an organic thing. Like
dude. That's the only thing. Like I'm not like I've never done blow or any drug
same,
really, but
same.
like the ones that come out of the earth, it's like I think that's free game, dude.
Yeah, and it's like you smoke cigarettes and there's more bad shit for you in a damn cigarette than there is for you in a joint because the joint's just flower from the ground,
Yeah.
and then it makes you feel good. Like
I did some shrooms at a Sturgill Simpson concert
ooh,
in Austin, and because he has this like light
oh yeah,
show,
yeah.
and he cut his finger that night and was bleeding on every guitar he played. It was so
What?
wild, dude. One of the best concerts I've ever seen, dude. He played Desperado by Rihanna. It was so sick, dude. One of
is
my
cool.
favorites, man. Like Sturgill is the best.
Your dream show. If you were to go to a show, what venue would it be at, and who would be playing? You could have two openers.
If I'm just a fan in the
Dream
audience,
show, yep. Dream show to watch.
Stapleton.
Is he,
I've got a great Stapleton story.
is he
if you have time.
headlining or opening?
Headlining.
Stapleton's headlining. All right.
Sturgill's opening.
Okay. And then
Stapleton, Sturgill.
who's your third? You got
Me.
You.
No, I don't know. Casey Musgraves or something.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know how much time we have left or whatever, but I got this crazy Chris Stapleton story. He was playing in like an hour south of Austin when we were in college. And this is like literally 2 weeks before his Justin Timberlake CMA performance that
Yeah.
blew him up. And like barely anyone knew who he was. Like, but I had been a fan of him since What Are You Listening To? And so I had listened to the whole Traveler album. And there was a huge storm. And he was playing this amphitheater. And they canceled the show. But they were like, if you can make it down, we'll play it inside. There's like 50 people there. All the hardcore fans, like me and a few buddies drove down. Huge Chris Stapleton fans. Like everyone crammed in this like room, and it was like everyone singing every word to that record, dude. 2 weeks later it blows up and it's like the biggest thing in country music. And I was like, I knew it first. I was there.
And that's probably a moment that he as an artist never forgets. Is
I bet you he doesn't forget that one.
Those diehards being in that closed space.
Yeah.
Like
It was fun.
like 50 people that know every single word and are living with this record.
That took a lot of risk to drive through this crazy storm to get down the 35 to get down there.
Yeah, pretty wild. So you got the record mastered, you got the EP out right now. We've been writing the songs for a while now.
Dude,
now
I feel like I could
getting
put
ready to
out
them
another
out.
album after this one. Like I have so many cool songs.
Hell yeah.
My goal is to try to beat them, but
Yeah.
I feel like I could put them out.
Hell yeah.
I'm just gonna start leaking stuff on the socials.
Do it. So where can people go to follow you and all that shit?
Just look me up, Tyler Dial.
Tyler Dial.
Yes, like butt dial. That's what I tell people
But
so they don't
Tyler
freak.
Dial. There you go. Hell
Tyler
yeah.
butt dial.
Tyler Butt Dial.
I don't want to make that a thing, but shit.
All right, we won't put that one up on the TikToks. But dude, I really appreciate
Thanks,
you coming
Matt.
on and taking the time, and look forward to hearing the new stuff when it comes out.
I'll send it to you if you want.
Dude,
but
please
thanks,
do.
bro.
Please
Thanks
do.
for supporting me,
And
dude.
would love to get you on a writer's round sometime
I'm
and
in.
hang out and
Whenever.
And enjoy things from the ground. Have a good time.
Yes,
Hell
please.
yeah.
Cheers,
Hell yeah.
dude.
Hell yeah. Well, you guys be sure to check out our boy Tyler Dial. He's got new music out right now. He's got more music coming. And be sure to follow him on the socials at Tyler Dial, at Tyler Dial Music. He's got a website. Do it all. Check it all out. Buy some merch too if you got that out there. And
Yeah.
if you see him coming to your town, when he's back out on the road, go out there and support the man because he is a badass and we love him here at the In the Round podcast. Once again, guys, my name is Matt Burrell. Be sure to check out our sponsors, MRL Music Group, Whaletail Media, Saxman Studios, and of course, our boy Mitch Wallace with The Digital Marketing Agency. You like the episode, leave a review, subscribe for us, hit that like button, share it, tell your friend, tell your grandma, tell whoever, and we'll see you next time. This has been the In the Round podcast.